So what do you understand is happening in the world?
We are facing enormous challenges, unprecedented challenges. I mean, when you try to look beyond the constant news cycle of every day, I think three major threats present themselves as major threats to human civilization itself. And these are nuclear war and ecological collapse and technological disruption. I think the most important thing to know about living in the 21st century is that humans are now hackable animals. To hack a human being means to understand that human better than he or she understand themselves, which was never possible in history before on a massive scale. I mean, on an individual level, yes. My mother, at least until a certain age, knew me better than I knew myself. And that was good, because her interests were aligned with mine. And then after a certain age, it's not so good if your mother still knows you better than you know yourself. But it's much, much worse if there is a corporation or a government, rather than a parent, that knows you better than you know yourself.
Does it have to be worse?
Again, it could be used for good purpose. I'm not saying let's stop all technological progress. But if it falls into the hand of a 21st century Stalin, the result is the worst totalitarian regime in history. And we already have a number of applicants for the job of 21st century Stalin. So we need to be very, very careful about it. What I meant is that Homo sapiens is now acquiring technologies that can either destroy us or upgrade us, but will not leave us as we are. Authority will gradually shift from us to these corporate or government algorithms that will increasingly decide almost everything about our life. You apply to the bank to get a loan, it's an algorithm that decides. You apply to get a job, it's an algorithm. Even questions like what to study or whom to marry will increasingly be decided by these algorithms. To stay in the game, you need to get to know yourself better. Also, in order to protect yourself against being manipulated by these external forces.
What do you say to those who say, none of this is new, heard it all before, you're sensationalizing what is going on at present, not interested? To which you say what?
Yeah, some things are old, but you now have the biology to understand not only what I say and who I meet, but actually how I feel and what I think. So think 10, 20 years in the future, in North Korea or someplace like that, every citizen has a biometric bracelet on the hand. And they follow not just where you go, but how you feel. If there is a big speech by the big leader on the radio, and everybody must listen, you can smile and you can clap your hands, but they know that you're actually angry. This is a kind of power that nobody in history ever had. It's far beyond even George Orwell's 1984. And this is not science fiction. It's not 1,000 years in the future. Some regimes are already starting to build these total surveillance systems. Even now, we have 10, 20 years to do something about it. If we take the wrong decisions, maybe there is no way back. Once you establish a kind of digital dictatorship that has this kind of knowledge of everybody, there is absolutely no way to destroy the system from within.
It seems at the end of this new global order, how important is that there is that disconnect?
That's extremely dangerous, because if we get into an arms race situation with AI, with genetics, with biotechnology, it almost guarantees the worst outcome. Because no matter what dystopian scenario you think about, no matter what dangerous technological development you think about, in an arms race situation, the thinking will be, hey, we don't want to do it, but the Chinese are doing it, or the Iranians are doing it, or the Israelis are doing it, and we can't be left behind, so even though it's dangerous, we'll do it first. And the other guys will say the same thing. And if we get into this arms race mentality, then it doesn't matter who wins the arms race, the loser will be humanity.